Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing this clip-on light from LePower. Full disclosure, the brand actually ended up sending me this for free. They reached out to me and said, hey, will you review our product? I said, send it out, I'll take a look at it and we'll see what we got. So today, we're gonna see what they got. Let's go ahead and start with the unboxing here. Started by just looking at the outside. Very simple packaging here. And it does advertise 3 features: eye caring, 3 timer settings, and smart memory. I'm not sure what all of those mean, but let's go ahead and open this guy up and see what's inside. Alright, so we have, first thing we see is our user manual. Very brief, 1 page, that's it. Next we have some cables, and I imagine this is probably the entirety of it, but it's wrapped in some bubble wrap. This is kind of hefty. I'm kind of surprised. This is metal construct. Wow, this is actually a really good one. I was expecting like some chintzy, cheap, like plastic thing from like Amazon, you know, Amazon. But no, this thing is solid. Like, this is metal. This whole section is metal. The back of this is metal. Like, this is solid. And that is a powerful spring. If you got some weak hands, you might struggle. You might have to use both hands to grab that if you're a kid. So you got the stainless steel spring here, so you don't have to worry about rusting with that. We also have a little cable keeper to keep you from yanking the cable out. And then here on the power end, we can see that it is USB powered, as well as it comes with a little USB power brick. This is a 10-watt power brick. So if you lose the charger and you need to find one, a 10-watt power brick is what you'll need. I've clipped it onto my desk here, and that's a solid grab. It doesn't let go. I can move this around. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise. I know that, like, if you watch Adam Savage's Tested YouTube channel, he's got a lot of lights and things on these little flexible arms, and this is completely silent, and his are always like while this one is silent, all metal construction. We also have a controller. We got a power, we got a light that might be like a brightness, M for mode. I'm guessing that's a clock for like a timer, and then a moon. We'll go ahead and look at that here in a minute, but let's just see if we can get this guy turned on. So I'm gonna start by cheating and just using my computer here. Let's see if my computer puts out enough power to operate this guy here. So I'm just plugged it in my computer, and there we go. Wow, that's pretty solid. Yeah, and this little light thing is to turn up and down the brightness. So it has 5 brightness levels, that's nice. Let's go to modes. Oh, it changes your color temperature, look at that. So we got really warm color, so if at night you want something to read without like totally hurting your eyes, this is really good. Gets rid of that blue light. And then we go a little bit warmer. Warmer again, even warmer, and like a full bright daylight white. I'm impressed with this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the manual to figure out what these last 2 are here. Press 1, 2, or 3 times to set a 20, 40, or 60-minute timer. So here you can also see there's 3 little dots here. These actually will light up for every 20 minutes you have. So this will actually go down as you're running out of time on your timer. So if typically you have, like, you know, this on is just like a room light kind of thing all the time, lighting up the room, and you're like, okay, now it's time to settle down, go to bed, we don't want like the super bright light, you can hit the little moon. Huh? And it goes to a night mode. That is super cool. And if I turn it off and then back on, it goes right back to where it normally is. So if I go to night mode, and then I can hit the power button, turns off, turn it back on, it goes back to where it was. So this is just temporarily, the one time goes to night mode, and then later you can go back to the day. This is impressive though, like that is I'm impressed. LePower. I'm gonna go ahead and test this out a little bit, but first impressions are really good. Like, I could just clip this on in here in my office and use it as a nice fill light. Look at that. Granted, I already have like 2 big studio lights. I've done like a video on those, but you know, we got this versus that. Adds a little bit of shadow. I don't know, kind of cool. Yeah, wow, I'm impressed. Or, you know, if it's something here on the desk that I'm working on, like, it doesn't just have to be a reading light, a night light. You can be here working on a desk, and now, boom, you can see everything just the way it is, and it's very well lit. This is easily adjustable, and it like holds wherever you put it, like right in the way, out of the way. I'm impressed. So I'm gonna actually have my wife test this one out because I think she's the one that will put the most use to it. Otherwise, I might steal it and keep it here at my desk. Look, this was free, and it does sound biased, but I came into this thinking that this might be a cheap piece of plastic, and the fact that it's a metal construction, it's sturdy, and the lighting is actually really nice, even. Let's put this to the test, and then we'll give a final review here in a couple of days. All right, that took me a little bit more than a couple of days, but we definitely gave this a good testing. I've come up with a list of things, pros and cons, and then I have a short list of things that my wife had to add on as well. So let's go ahead and start with the con list, then we'll go to the pros list, and then we'll hit my wife's list last. Starting with the con list. The arm on this guy is kinda short. I wish it was longer. It's not a bad length the way it is. Like if you're able to clamp it nearby whatever you're working on, it's fine. But if I want to say if I only have somewhere like that's further away to mount it, like the other side of a table, it won't be able to reach to the other side of a table to provide sufficient lighting. Next con is I wish that the little control switch here was actually on the light itself. I think that would be a really great feature. Is right here would be all of my buttons. I think that would be a better place because you're like, hey, you know what, this is the light. Like I'll just tap there to turn it on there. You know, I wish that the buttons were just mounted on the back here. I think that would have saved us from having to figure out this cord situation. The first thing my wife said when we got this is, does it go any darker? It doesn't go dim enough. Even though when we do hit the little moon, it does go to its most dark and warm light color, which is fairly dim, but in a dark room, it's still fairly bright, which is good and bad. But she was hoping for something a little bit darker, so she actually tends to face it away from herself, like use reflected light off of a wall to then read from there. One thing I did notice, we have this mounted horizontally, and over time it kind of will sag. You see that? Like when I first got it, like you could put it in whatever position and it would stay there, but like if it's a common position that it moves from here to here to here to here, that spot will then not hold up as well anymore. But if you just like set it and kind of always leave it there, it'll almost always be great. That is it for the con list. Not very long, not really terrible things on the con list. Let's go ahead and go over the pros. We've kind of talked about it in the first part of this video, but first pro I have is that this cable here, the little charging cable, power cable, is actually nice and long, so you can mount this almost anywhere you need to. My second one is I'm impressed with how bright it gets and the different color temperatures. I love, it goes from 2700 Kelvin to 6000 Kelvin, so like that's a very warm yellow like this right here to a very, very bright white. So standard like daylight bright white is 5000, and it went a step above to 6000, which is fantastic. Very bright, very white. So if you need to light up something, that is a great feature. And then we did look it up. It is 230 lumens. I do really like the silicone grip myself. You can see that it's got kind of a tooth going on there to be able to grab different surfaces, things like that. However, it's not perfect for round objects, at least not like real big round objects, but it doesn't like move around when you have to do this. it stays in place. I also really like that it's just USB powered. I can plug this into a computer, a USB port. If you already have like a USB hub, or maybe your like outlets have those little USB chargers already built in, like just plug this guy in and you're ready to go. That's really nice that it's just USB powered, and it even came with a charging brick. I think I touched on this quite a bit, but the sturdy metal construction of everything here is made of metal, which it like brings it to a better quality. You know it's gonna last longer, it's gonna just be nicer overall, and it gives it just a better quality feel of a product. I was starting to touch on it in the last one. The light is very evenly diffused. If we go all the way to our dimmest color here, oh, that's as dim as it goes. I can kind of make out where the LEDs are, but like even you can't, and if I have it pointing at something, it doesn't leave like obvious LED light artifacts. It's more of a very smooth, diffused light, which is fantastic. And lastly is it comes in a bar, or it also comes in a cone shape. So you can get either one, and that's my pro list. Pretty reasonable. And lastly, we're gonna go over my wife's things. She has two things that really stood out to her. So number one, this little remote thing, there are too many buttons. She's like, if I want to turn it on, I just like want to turn it on. I don't want to have to figure out which button I'm turning to turn it on. And she said, but if they're gonna have this many buttons, she wishes it had a remote. And that would be a cool feature to have, is to have like a little remote to be able to control this from, you know, her nightstand and just hit the little button there. I still think that it would be better if the controls were on the back of this light here, or like if it's the cone one, it would be like around at the top kind of thing. And then her last thing she had to say is it needs more of a round clamp for bedposts. This doesn't grab onto our bedpost perfectly. It does grab on and it holds, but like when we go to move it around, it does sometimes, it'll be sitting there and then it'll slowly start to droop because it is just silicone grabbing onto it, so it'll go until like this hits the wall or something else stops it from turning its weight around. So those are her two complaints, but overall, fantastic little light. I will have links down in the description of this video for this LePower LED light. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions about this, leave those in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer those for you. And like I said before, links will be down in the description. I am an Amazon affiliate. Using those links do help to support this channel with no additional cost to you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.